Am I the a-hole for refusing to be a bridesmaid in my sister's wedding? I, 24 female, have a sister, 28 female, Lexi. Me and Lexi used to be really close, and she was basically my best friend. However, around 7 or 8 months ago, I found out my boyfriend Jonah was cheating on me with her, and now they're getting married in August. We hadn't talked since then, until she called me the other day asking me if I would be one of her bridesmaids. This angered me, and I told her that I didn't want to do that, and she was messed up for even asking that. She said that it would mean a lot to her since I'm her only sister. She also told me that she had already bought the dress, so said I would be letting her down then and wasting the money she spent on the dress. I said that just because she bought me a dress doesn't mean I have to be in her wedding. She started crying and telling me how I was being insensitive and holding a grudge against her. I tried to tell her that I was sorry, but she didn't listen and hung up. Now, yesterday my parents invited me over for dinner. But what I didn't know is that Lexi had called them, told them what I said. So halfway through dinner, my mom out of nowhere says that I should be Lexi's bridesmaid. I told her I really didn't want to. She then said that Lexi told her what happened and that I shouldn't care about Jonah and just do it for Lexi. I said I was not going to be in a wedding with my cheating ex-boyfriend and watch him marry my sister. My dad got angry and called me selfish and kicked me out of their house. My parents haven't spoken to me and neither has Lexi. Now, I feel like a witch, but I also feel like I deserve to feel angry. I'm just so conflicted on what to do. Am I wrong for saying no? Now, for the top comments. Not the a-hole, but your whole family sucks. $10 say Lexi is pregnant. Not the a-hole, but everyone else is. I'd personally consider it a win that none of these a-holes are speaking to you. Live your life without their BS and be happy. Oh yeah, OP, they're doing you a favor. Don't refuse this gift of no contact. They want you to feel rejected and wrong, like their attention is some kind of privilege. But it isn't. If this is what it costs to be in their lives, you are far better off without them. Enjoy some quiet drama-free time without them. And if they contact you, remind them that your position still stands and you accept their punishment of not talking to you. Maybe go so far as to say, "You're right, I wouldn't talk to me either. I definitely don't deserve your time or attention. No, you were right. It's best that you teach me a lesson." Not the a-hole. Tell me who's the golden child without telling me who's the golden child. Honestly, yeah, she's always been the favorite. And when he cheats on her, you'll be the only one not surprised. And when he tries to talk to you again, no one will believe you. These people are not your family. Get rid of them. They don't love you, and I'm sorry. Not the a-hole, of course. Not the a-hole. Do your parents really think it's about the cheating boyfriend and not being betrayed by your own sister who was your best friend? Lexi made her choice when she hopped into bed with your boyfriend. She doesn't get to be the victim here. For your own healing, please don't attend this wedding just to make someone who clearly does not care about you feel better. Adding that I would be petty AF and send her a congratulations card signed, "You lose them how you find them. Good luck." Next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for humiliating my wife on social media to defend my mom?" We finally have gone no contact with my mom. It was a long, hard decision, but she and my wife are just fundamentally unable to get along and recently had a vicious fight, and I knew I had to put my wife first. This fight was so bad my mom didn't even protest the no contact. We're just done with each other, but I can't say it hasn't been gut-wrenching. My mom has given her version of the story to everyone, so I get that my wife wants to defend herself. But I hate that she's posting on social media because I find that tacky. And my mom just told people verbally. Anyway, my wife made a couple posts about my mom's behavior over the years, which, hey, they were true. But then she claimed my mom wore white to our wedding when she didn't, and she even posted a picture to prove it. This picture is not from our wedding. It is from my mom's own wedding, and my wife labeled it the mother-son dance. I was mortified. I don't even care about the white dress, but the man my mom was with was her husband, not me. Face was cropped out, and I felt humiliated. He was holding her very intimately, hand on her lower back, her head buried in his chest. My mom and I would never ever touch like that, and it made me feel sick. Heck, my mom was stiff during the actual mother-son dance. I know some families are more affectionate, but I would just never do that. I asked my wife to take it down and she refused. I took it into my own hands and comments. "Honey, think you are confused. That's stepdad, remember? That was their wedding." She actually wore green to ours and posted the pictures for proof. My wife was furious and deeply hurt. She broke down crying and said I publicly humiliated her and sided with my mom. She said she just wanted a little bit of petty revenge, that I should have taken her side. It's been a day and she's still clearly upset. Not the a-hole. She publicly humiliated herself by acting like a petty teen engaged in a social media smear campaign. This 100%. That's high school BS. Super freaking gross. Airing dirty laundry on social media already sucks. This is another level, and would leave a bad taste in my mouth for a while regardless of current standing with a mother. Not the a-hole. She didn't air dirty laundry. She took needle and thread to create it, dirty it, and say it was someone else. Not the a-hole. Your wife is immature for doing that. Why would you post such a thing, not considering your feelings about it, much less your mother's, even if you guys are at odds with her? She deserved being called out. Next time, she'll be mindful of what she posts. Wife sounds like a drama queen. I know the sub is just no mother-in-law, but honestly, a lot of the posts there you can tell the daughter-in-law is equally as toxic, if not more. These sons have okay relationships with their families, and then their wives nuke things and demand pick me. All just seems like such a petty squabble for power with the mother-in-laws. Embarrassing to be old enough to think you should get married and acting this way in social media. Not the a-hole. I hope you went no contact with your mom based on behavior that you have witnessed yourself, because your wife clearly doesn't mind lying and manipulating. Exactly. It makes me wonder if his wife has lied before about things in order to get petty revenge. There is no way that out of the entire social media rant, the wife just decided to sprinkle in one obvious lie. I hope he simply just caught that lie because it was a photo. If anything, the only reason the wife didn't think twice about posting an easily disprovable photo is because her version of reality is super twisted. I am willing to bet a lot of money that other things Opie thinks are true are not actually true. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my husband selfish and saying no to the arrangements he made? I, female 33, have been married to my husband, male 38, for 2 years. He has a 9-year-old son from his former marriage. He's always been on bad terms with his ex. They had a messy divorce and basically hate each other's guts. It got worse after his ex got remarried. The current problem started when he found out that his ex-wife planned to go on vacation without their son, my stepson. Why? Because her new husband didn't want him to go, probably because it's a romantic getaway. My husband pitched a fit and insisted they take my stepson, but she refused. My husband then brought him to stay with us. Not his days, but I welcomed him and I made sure to keep him entertained and happy. All was good, till I found out that my husband has booked tickets for a vacation to this same place his ex and her new husband were going. Same hotel, same everything. He booked the tickets in mine and his son's name only. I was confused. I asked him about it and he said he did this to spite his ex and show her she can't exclude his son from a vacation and who the better parent is. He told me he's arranged for everything and all I had to do was take time off work and take his son and go. I was shocked. I asked if he was serious, and he confirmed it. I went off on him saying I can't just take time off work and go with his son to a place I've never been before, just so he could one-up his ex. He ranted about how busy he was. Otherwise, he would have taken care of this himself, but sent me instead. I yelled, saying I've got a lot on my plate. I work full-time. I take care of my cancer-stricken mom. I clean, cook, and take care of my stepson on top of that. But I said my boss will understand if I take time off. Unlike his, but in response I called him selfish and said no to this arrangement and told him it was final. He flipped his lid on me, then told his son that I just said no to a fun vacation for him funded by his dad. I told him to stop it because I have commitments and won't risk losing my job over an unexpected vacation. And for what? We just got back from one a month ago. He's been ranting about how I'm wasting his time and money by declining to go, and that his son will hate me for this forever. Not the a-hole. You are married to a man who hasn't got over his wife/ex and is willing to hurt his son for some toxic payback. Red flags. This will not end well. Run. Usually, I roll my eyes when Reddit jumps on the dump them ASAP train. But this is red flag upon red flag. Hope he needs to get out while she still can. Feel terrible for the kid though. Hopefully his bio mom is a better parent and gets sole custody one day. I agree. And maybe get a hold of the bio mom so she can be aware of what goes on over there, and that their son may/is used as a pawn. Poor kid. Not the a-hole. But hun, he's either still in love with his ex and jealous that she's moved on, or he's got some serious power and control issues that you need to be aware of. If he's acting like this about her, it doesn't bode well for you. One-upping another can be fun, but not if it is done out of hate and throws away a lot of money and time and effort. Not the a-hole and the divorce made/make sense. Not the a-hole. He's trying to use you and his son in his sick game of revenge. If it is so important to mess with his ex in this way, then he should take his son himself, not try to bully you into doing it. It's totally and completely inappropriate and unhealthy. And frankly, he is being emotionally and psychologically abusive to you. Do you see that? There's so much bigger issue here. Not the a-hole. He really needs to see a counselor to work through this. It's poisoning his whole life. Was this trip his ex is going on planned around a time when you would have a son? People do go on trips without their kids, but that's beside the point. A lot of abusers just get better at manipulation and control after starting therapy because they start to hide it with terms the counselor uses. Until dude realizes people in his life are not pawns for him to control, but humans who have needs outside of serving him, he won't change. It's not about communication or anger issues. This is about control and thinking others join his life so he can control what they do and who they are. Therapy works for a lot of people, but this dude is controlling AF, so I'm thinking he has passed the point of help until his whole philosophy/ideology about relationships with humans changes in a big way. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to grieve with my wife after my aunt's passing? I, 35 male, am married to a woman named Jess, 26 female. We dated for 2 years before marriage and have been married for 1 year now. Most of my family has passed away, but I have, or rather had, one aunt from my mother's side. My Aunt Jill took an active role in raising me, making sure I was fed and clothed when my mother was unable or unwilling, which was often. We kept in touch, but living across the country from her, she and Jess never met. Yesterday morning, I got the news that my Aunt Jill had suddenly passed away. I was in shock because she was still young, and her life was taken prematurely in an accident. I immediately told Jess. Jess was sympathetic at first, but I told her that I needed a while to be in my room. I went to my room, where I kind of just mindlessly spaced out browsing through a news site. At some point, Jess knocked on my door and told me that I needed to talk about it, to which I responded I appreciated the sentiment, but I really just needed to be alone. Jess reacted harshly to this, saying I was an emotional black hole. Then she slammed my door shut and literally stomped away. For the next 2 hours, every 10 to 15 minutes or so, Jess would open my door abruptly and half shout asking if I was ready to be an adult. I grew increasingly impatient until I just stood up and went out for a walk. When I got back home about an hour later, the chain was locked on our front door, which we never use, and I repeatedly knocked/pushed the doorbell until Jess said that she'd only let me in if I agreed to talk about what happened. I said no, so Jess walked away. Eventually, she unlocked it because I kept pounding on the door and she didn't want me embarrassing her in front of the neighbors. Jess is furious at me now, saying that I'm not really grieving because I'm online. She said that I needed to let her in on my feelings, but I responded that it's hard to let her in on my feelings when she just refused to let me into our house. That set her off even more. Am I being a mega a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, but your wife certainly is. There is no right or wrong way to grieve, and by pushing you into grieving her proper way, she's actually making it harder to you to process your aunt's death. She needs to apologize to you and back the heck off. Yep, she is showing both insecurity and immaturity. You cannot project on others how you would feel or mourn, or deal with deep emotions. Some people cry and need a shoulder. Some people need quiet, alone time. Some people need to back away from it and approach it in a teeny tiny bites when it feels safe for them. Opie's wife is making it about her, and it's not. Immaturity. Exactly. She's the one being immature, not Opie. Opie's definitely the a-hole in this situation. You can grieve any way you want, and I'm sorry for your loss. Soft the a-hole for being a 32-year-old who was dating a 23-year-old and is now complaining about how immature she is. Not the a-hole. Jess needs to back the heck off. She doesn't get to tell you how to grieve, and you don't have to perform your grief for her in a way that she finds satisfactory. Her locking you out is a solid a-hole move, as it's not giving you space to process how you're feeling. I want to repeat, She needs to back off. Grief is so very different for people. Not one human has the right to determine how you process it. My husband's father passed last year. They were very, very close. But my husband has a lot of mixed emotions since he was also a Nehalfi father. My husband didn't cry. He was down for a bit. I asked once if he wanted to talk. He said nope, not what he wants to do. And then I let it go. Of course, if he started showing some unhealthy behaviors, I would have tried to help out. But to someone on the outside, they never would have known he lost a parent. And that's okay. And he's okay, and this is consistently how he processes pain. Let people heal in their own way, damn it. Not a-hole. Different people grieve in different ways. If your behaviors were going on for more than a week, you should be justified in being concerned about your withdrawing from the world rather than tackling the grief. But on the same day you got the news? Not cool. And then locking you out of your own home? That's over the top. This is a very troubling reaction from her.